Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 1 p.m. here in Chicago, Illinois. That means it's time for another live stream. Today is June 9th, 2021. It is a Wednesday, and it is a gorgeous Wednesday here in Chicago. A humid day, but sunny, and another beautiful day along the lakefront for me for my morning run today. Hopefully, all of you guys had nice weather as well. Hopefully, it's not too humid for where you are. Right now, the humidity levels in Chicago are bearable because the temperatures aren't too high, but in about a month, it'll be unbearable. But for now, I can live with it. My daughter's having a hard time, though. She has, she's saying like the air is heavy. And I can tell what she means by that, but it doesn't clearly affect me as much as it does her. But I'm guessing that some of you are that way too. So hopefully you guys are getting through it okay. Everyone listening on the podcast, welcome. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the audio version. If you are on your run right now, I hope that it's not too humid for you. And for everyone watching this on YouTube after the fact, hopefully you can sit back at a time of the day where you can just relax, either have this on in the background or watch along with us and enjoy a beverage. I've got some Noon, that mango citrus, which is my favorite, a little bit of caffeine, really nice and tasty. I got it on some ice, so it's a really nice way to cool off a little bit today. All right, let's see who we got here. We got Robert Hodge in the chat. He says, "What's going on, Co-Fam? Hope everybody's good." He's recovering today from a very intense fartlek this morning. Started doing 2 quality sessions a week starting last week, and boy, am I feeling it. All right. Cool, Robert. Good work. Intense fartlek session. Nice. My as far as me and my recovery, I'm feeling like ready to start doing, not workouts, but I feel like mentally I'm like, all right, time to get back into it. And then like my legs are like, no, you're not. No, you're not. So I'm still a little bit groggy. But yeah, the 2 sessions a week, it's nice. It's a nice feeling. You feel like you're getting a lot done when you do that. Steven Gersdorf says, a Kofu show. Nice. And Philip Bourne says, yo, what's going on? And he just returned from a short 5K. Legs had no bounce at all. Just felt like my shock absorbers were doing nothing. Philip, I can relate to that. I can relate to that feeling for sure. But you know what? On the plus side, he's preheating the oven now to make some pizza. That's a win. That's a win. Christian says, does the fetal position assist in recovery? Asking for a friend. I'm not sure. I suspect that probably the best position for recovery is kind of like if you're in like the Craftmatic adjustable 2 and you're like sitting up a little bit and then the legs are a little bit up. And if you do that while having like some Normatec boots on, I feel like that's probably prime recovery position. Or if you sleep in the fetal position, I'm sure that's fine too. But I don't know. I'm not positive about that. Speaking of like sleeping and like different positions, I was looking at some. I don't know why it came up yesterday. I think maybe just because I've been going through and watching like a bigger variety of YouTube content lately. Probably because I started watching a lot more like ultra trail videos. So I was watching like just a bunch of different channels that I don't normally watch, but a video popped up in my feed yesterday from a channel that I used to watch all the time. Do you guys remember the channel Riz Knows? A guy named Riz, and he would review Garmin's and Fitbits and like all sorts of other. He did reviewed shoes and all sorts of other running tech. A lot of earbud reviews. He was a guy that I used to watch all the time when I started making running content videos. And I noticed like, oh, he's doing another mattress video on this channel. What's up with that? And then I looked at the channel more deeply. I hadn't subscribed a while ago. I looked at the channel more deeply, and the channel used to be about fitness and fitness products. And it also like there was a whole business around. I mean, there's still a business around it, but there was a whole business around it where he had an app, and basically he would scour for the lowest prices on things and just constantly update his website with low prices. And there was an app to go along with it, a website. There were written reviews, video reviews, all sorts of stuff. And I'm looking at this channel, and I'm like, well, all of a sudden it's all mattress videos, and it's basically like a shoe review video channel, but with mattresses. So it's like the purple bed after so many days, or like this Casper bed versus this Sealy bed. And I'm like, what is going on here? And I'm scrolling through and I'm like, these are all mattress videos. And he's been making a mattress video like multiple times per week. Not him, but someone else on his team. After a while, like he stopped being like the talent in front of the camera, and it's someone else now. But like for like 180 videos in a row, nothing but mattress content. I'm like, what's going on? And then finally I found a video that said like channel update, where he announced he's switching from being a fitness channel to a mattress channel, a sleep channel. And I was like, what? I didn't understand that. Did anyone else ever watch that channel? Anyone else? I don't know. I'm looking in the live stream to see if anyone else remembers Riz Knows, but yeah, I don't know. All right. Maybe that's just me, but it was just a peculiar thing. And then I was trying to figure out like, what are other channels that have changed really drastically over time? And lots of channels do. Some of my favorite channels have made some pretty big pivots. My channel made a big pivot a while ago too. And so like, you know, it's just an interesting thing. I'm like trying to think about like, that would be a fun video to make, I think. But we got it. We'll see. Yeah. Thomasville says, are you switching? No, I'm not. This is not going to be a sleep channel. Although I have been talking about more sleep. And Kevin Patterson remembers, he says, Riz knows. I love this picture, Kevin. Kevin Patterson says, Riz knows was cool back in the day, but yeah, weird transition to mattresses. Yeah, Thomas Villa says, if I did switch, what would I switch to? I would switch to food. Yeah, some sort of eating focused channel. I'm not sure how it was. Yeah, it'd be eating, maybe eating / travel. I'm not sure. Although the original focus for the channel was urban dad kind of thing. So, I mean, maybe it would revert back to that. That could kind of make some sense, but I you know, I've no desire to change the channel. Stevie76 says glute activation channel. There we go. Nothing but glute exercises like every day. Like it would be like Bulgarian split squat versus single leg deadlift. Like as far as glute activation, I think that could be a channel. I think that could be a channel. Definitely. Someone else is saying that. Yeah, Remy says, wait, Riz knows mattresses? Yeah, I guess. You know. Let's see. Someone was saying, where'd it go? Oh yeah, Stevie says he's watching RV videos and leisure travel vans. I was watching a lot of RV videos last summer. I was watching it also on the Great America channel on Dish Network. I don't know if it's on other networks as well. I think I've only seen it on Dish before. Joshua Martinez says, are the Hoka One Carbon X good for like 4 to 10 mile runs? I'd say, I'm assuming you said Carbon X. So I'm thinking you're talking about version 1. The version 1 would be great for 4 to 10 mile runs, depending on how fast they are. So if it's just like a 4 to 10 mile run, easy run, probably not. But if it's a 4 mile, like a little bit of a warm up and then a 5K time trial and then a cool down to get you to 4 miles, that'd be great. 10 mile run, if you're doing like a threshold workout, it'd be great. But for like just 10 miles easy, I probably wouldn't pick that. Jeff Elliott remembers Riz knows too. Thanks. I'm glad I'm not the only one that remembers that. So Chris Stapleton says, what is your recommendation for a daily trainer for easy days and moderate days? I'd say right now, the two that I would pick are Mach 4 and the Nova Blast 2. I don't think the Nova Blast 2 is out yet. I think is it out yet? I'm not sure. It's going to be soon if it's not out already. It'll be within the next week or two, but I ran in those this morning and they're just a great shoe. And the Mach 4 I've been really loving. The miles have just clicked on by real fast for that one. All right, Jeff Elliott says, I signed up for a half in August in Charlotte. It's probably going to be pretty brutal for the heat and humidity. Yeah, it is. Charlotte in August? Why is that even an option for people? That sounds hard. He said, but it'll keep me motivated for the next few months. There you go. So then it'll be worth it. It'll be worth it. The Rock and Roll Half Marathon in Chicago is usually like July 4th weekend, like right around that time, I think. And every year I end up running like a long run that day that usually ends up being longer than a half marathon. But I'm always like, but I'm glad I'm not racing a half marathon today. I don't know. Maybe I'll run the 5K this year because there's usually a 5K and half marathon. Maybe I'll run the 5K again. That could be fun. But yeah, those hot, humid half marathons are really tough. Really, really tough. All right, Jason Dahls here says, been a while since I've been able to make the live stream. Good to see you again, Jason. Thanks for stopping by today. And all right, let's see what else we got. Dave Bradshaw Running says, Hey, Kofuzi, I tried the Carbon X2 over the last week, and I'm in love with it. Does everything I want. I reckon it'd be super durable. Great job on the trail. Well, thanks so much. I'm glad you're liking that X2. I was just having a conversation with someone today, and they were talking about how much they like the X2 as well. It's, like the only thing I don't like about racing, and specifically talking about like the trail, it was a 50K, and then a couple weeks before I did a marathon, is that like when you do those longer runs, it takes a while to recover. And so now it's like I want to like do a lot of workouts, and I want to start getting ready for whatever's next. And so like, and one of those things would be an opportunity to run in the Carbon X2 or some other carbon plated shoes that I have. So like pretty excited about all those things. Yeah, I need to put some more miles in the X2. I still have the Rocket X as well, and I need to put some more miles in that one too. But just like, there'll be time. There'll be time for me to get to it. Once we get to like later July and basically into August, that's really when I'll be getting into stride with for my marathon training for the fall and into the winter. So there'll be lots of carbon plated miles to come, but the X2 is a good one. I'm glad you're enjoying it. All right. Shining says, hi, Kofuzi. Just want to let you know you helped me a lot in getting into running, but I still have pain in my calves. Do you have any advice? Thank you. Well, I think it depends on kind of like what kind of pain you're having in your calves. And I just want to make sure it's in your calves and not the Achilles. Right. So a lot of times when people are newer to running, they could kind of like flare up the Achilles, which is a little bit lower, like below like the bulk of the muscle is the Achilles tendon. That usually whenever I have a flare up there, it's because I had too much intensity too quickly. So that means just kind of back off a little bit. Let the Achilles kind of adapt to the workouts you've been giving it for a couple weeks, and then you can try like pushing back again. But if it's more in the calves, I mean, one thing with it being hot right now is I would recommend, making sure you're staying hydrated and make sure you have lots of electrolytes. So if you're running, especially later in the day, after you've had like a morning's worth of coffee, you might want to make sure that you're drinking something like Noon that I'm drinking here, which has electrolytes in it, or making sure you're just getting a lot of those electrolytes from the foods that you're eating, whether it's like fruits like bananas or like foods from like leafy greens, that kind of thing. So that way you can make sure that your body has the right kind of like chemical balance it needs to be able to perform in a running situation. So that would be kind of one thing that I'd look at. Another thing I would look at is, maybe you need to be doing a little bit of like a warm up and then stretch before you really get into the running to get your body kind of like ready for the activity. So that would be some things early on that I would check for. All right. Tryboy Try says, I'm running the AJC Peachtree 10K in Atlanta this year. Awesome. Just picked out the Discount Endorphin Pros to run it in. After two runs in them, I'm thinking I may run in the Endorphin Speeds instead. There's a lot to unpack in that comment. First, I'm envious because that AJC 10K, I think is going to be I think it's going to be a huge party. I think it's going to be super fun. And I didn't like that party kind of way. I mean, it may. But I mean, like, this is going to be a super fun running event. They didn't get to have it last year. It's coming back this year in person. I think it's going to be super fun. I think that like the Atlanta Track Club is ready to start putting on some big events again. And I think they'll be able to do that safely this year. So super envious of you. It's going to be a really fun race. It's probably going to be another one of those hot ones, but should be a lot of fun. But with the Endorphin Pros, Tribo, I don't know where you're at. So one thing that I recall from being in that area, and I do think part of the 10K course is the same as the marathon trials course, is that it's very hilly. And for me, I recall from the speed versus the pro that, there were some times where I felt like the pro didn't quite work for me. I felt like it just was a lot of stiffness without a lot of springiness. But when I was running on hills, the pros started to really perk up. And I think that's because on the hills, I'm getting a little bit more kind of like leverage into the shoe, whether I'm pushing into it uphill or pushing down on it going downhill. And that really helped kind of like activate that carbon fiber plate, get it loaded properly. And it made the shoe a lot more fun to run in. Whereas the speed, you might kind of like be pushing it past like its limits, and it might not bottom out, but kind of like bottom out, or just hit its max level and then not really be able to give you as much as it could. So I would think about that. That's to be the only thing I would think about. Otherwise, I don't really think you're going to make a bad decision either way. But There's just one little wrinkle in there. All right. Pia Johnson, good to see you again, says, hey, Kofuzi, good job on the 50K. Thank you. He says, I got the Clifton 7 and the Endorphin Speed. I think they're both a bit soft and benefit from a stiffer daily trainer. Any recommendations? Infinity Run, maybe? No, I wouldn't go with the Infinity Run. If you think that the Clifton 7 and Endorphin Speed are a bit soft, I would look for the ones that, the keywords that I would look for are road feel when you're looking at shoes. So the shoes that I'm thinking about would be like the Under Armour Flow Velocity. It's a little bit pricey, but the shoe is great. Another one I'd look at is the New Balance Beacon. And another one that I would look at is, what's the other one that's in my closet right now? Oh, the Reebok Float Ride Energy. So like those are three, and that one's pretty cheap. So that's a wide range of prices, like $100 to $160 for those different three shoes. So those are some that I would look at that are a little bit more like low slung, give you a little bit more road feel and a little bit more firmness. And that might be something that you're liking if you're thinking the Clifton 7 and the Endorphin Speed are too squishy. So I would look at those. All right. Martha says, sorry to hear Jamie is experiencing hard times. He seems to have been riding a roller coaster. Did I miss something earlier? Did I miss something? I was just chatting with him a little bit ago. Oh, Frank's just saying, where the heck has Jamie been? He's doing all right. He's got some fun stuff coming up. Some really fun stuff coming up. So, I mean, one, he went to Portland for that. Was it the sound? It wasn't the pre-invitational. It was some other event in Portland. He got some really good photos from that event. So he's been traveling there. I don't know if he's working as a photographer now or if he's just going to these events to have fun and what. But so he was there. So I don't know. Maybe he's like pivoting a little bit, getting more into the sports photography. I mean, he got some really great shots. You would like, not that he didn't get good shots before, but like, if I didn't know they were Jamie's photos, I would have been like, oh, they got like legit photographers at this meet, so he's doing good. He's doing good. Well, I think he is. I do need to check in on him again. Not that it's, not I got to check in on him, but like, he's my friend. I should check on him a little bit better. All right. Yeah. And Jeff says he's Jamie's photo on Instagram. Yeah. It's a really good account to follow. And a lot of the pros who have seen their photo, because he'll tag the pros, they've been then, using those same photos and giving him photo credit. So I feel like he's getting attention, because these photos are really good. All right. Let's see. Danron says, morning, Co. Good morning, Danny. Good to see you. And Lee says, looks like in July, in-person races are coming back in Tijuana. Awesome. That's great news. That's great to hear that. Luis, did you get your shot yet? I know you got pushed back. You're waiting for a long time. How you doing on that? I'm hoping you have already gotten your first one already. But let me know if you're comfortable sharing that. Not meaning to single you out and make you share health information, but if you want to share that, I'm hoping you got it. All right. Jean-Philippe Mybaum says, running the Cookhaven, I think I said that right, Cookhaven Marathon next week. He's got the Vaporfly Next Percent, but I've been having some significant pain post runs in them, so now I have to pivot to one of my training shoes. Mach 4 or Clifton 7? I'd go with the Mach 4 over the Clifton 7, but I think it depends on like the nature of the pain. If it's, I don't know. I think the heel drop on both shoes is the same though, but for whatever reason, I feel like the heel drop feels to me on the Mach 4 like it's higher. So I don't know. The Clifton 7 might be a little bit more relaxed. So if you're getting pains, it might be better to run in the Clifton 7. But I would lean towards the Mach 4. Yeah. And Raymond Stallers wants to know, is the Mach 4 fine for a first marathon effort? Absolutely. I think it'd be a great choice. I think right now, like the pendulum has already swung. Like it's amazing how fast things are moving in the shoe world, considering like shoes need to be made like a year in advance. But like we've gone from the point where like people ran in kind of like whatever they trained in to everyone's running in a carbon plated super shoe to now people are like the daily trainers have caught up. I feel like they've stepped up their game to a point where people can run in daily trainers and have really great experiences in them again. And I think that like shoes like the Boston 9, Hyperion Tempo, even the Mach 4, I think is a great choice for first marathon effort. And I think those are all great shoes that can handle lots of mileage and racing too. So I think that's a good choice. Frank likes the SL20. I always like the SL20. All right. Let's see. I saw something from Martha. It says Kofuzi, another option for Piet in the upcoming Adidas Adios 6 if Piet's feet aren't too wide for that. Oh, yes. Very good option. Ed Bud describes it as a great combination of cushion in the midsole, but road feel outsole. Yeah. I mean, and the thing is, Ed loves all those shoes that I mentioned. The Forever, the Float, I don't know what the words are. Forever Float Ride Energy. He loves the Flow Velocity. I think he has he tried the Beacon? I'm not sure, but those other two, I know he loves those. So he definitely prefers a shoe that's a little bit more firm. So yeah, and I think he said like the Audio 6 is like the perfect shoe. So like that is the shoe that I feel like this is what Ed Bud likes. So definitely that's good. Really good point. Really good point. All right. Yeah, Remy B says about Jamie, he is a legit photographer for sure. All right, Yana with an update. She says, "Hey everyone, got my bachelor's degree today. Awesome, congratulations!" Remember yesterday she was holed up in her room getting her mind ready for her tests today, and she nailed them. Awesome. Now she's getting ready for her last run in the city where my school is. Up my favorite hill, kind of bittersweet. That does sound like it could be. But what great news. And I mean, I feel like on a day like that, you're going to be flying up the hill, right? So I think it'll be a great one. What a great send off too. Awesome. Congratulations. That's fantastic. Iron and Beer says, cheers y'all. Finally catching up on all the footage from the Crater Show 50K. You were flying. Yeah, I felt, thank you so much. I definitely was running faster than I should have been for what I can handle. But it felt, I was just like, I know this is going to be a little bit too fast, but this is a lot of fun to be on this course. And I'm just going to, I'll pay the consequences later. But right now, I'm just going to ride this train. And so I just went for it. And it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun out there. And Luis giving me the update. He had his first Pfizer on Friday. Awesome. Fantastic. Let's get a vaccine bell for that. Nice. Great news, Luis. I'm very happy to hear that. All right. Let's see what else we got. Judbeer Singh says Clifton 23 versus Nova. What Clifton 23? That doesn't make sense. I'm trying to think what shoe is in 23. I don't know what shoe is in 23, but the Clifton. If we're talking about the Clifton 8 versus the Nova Blast 2, or even the Clifton 7 versus Nova Blast 1, I picked the Nova Blast. The only thing about it, if we're looking at the Nova Blast 1, the Nova Blast 1 is a very squishy shoe. It's off-putting to some people. Even for me, it took me a couple of runs for it to kind of like mellow out a little bit to the point where I liked it. But which is weird for a shoe to have to break in, but it was just so squishy at first. It was like one of those squishy toys that they can make for kids these days. But then it became like not normal. It was still a very squishy shoe, but it became runnable after a couple of runs. But I would still pick the Nova Blast over the Clifton. But I just want to make sure you knew that it could be a little bit squishy for people. Looks like Shannon's here. Good to see you, Shannon. How are you? And Benji wants to know, how long can the Nova Blast go? People have got them pretty far. I think Andy had his really long time. He had a lot of miles on his. Now, I feel like where Andy runs, he's usually running in the Forest of Dean. And I feel like that terrain is pretty easy on shoes. And I also feel, I don't know, how do you think that works out? He's a taller runner, so longer strides, so fewer steps per mile. But he's also bigger than I am because he's taller. And so putting more force into the shoe, and he's much faster than I am. So also putting more force into the shoe. But in either event, he's got a lot of miles in his. He loved his. But I don't know from personal experience, but I would easily expect that they would get past 300 miles easily. And the rubber on the outsole is going to be fine. It's the AHAR Plus. Mine held up really well last year. Jadbir Singh says, sorry, it was supposed to be the Gel Nimbus 23 versus the Nova Blast. I'm not familiar with did I run in a Nimbus? I forget which Nimbus I ran in. It wasn't the latest Nimbus. I think it was like 2 Nimbuses ago that I ran in. Maybe in the Nimbus 22. I'm not sure. But unless you particularly like gel, I think the answer to that question depends on what your preference is. And so like the Gel Nimbus 23, I haven't run in the 23, but I think the way that the Gel Nimbus is going is it's a lot of what ASICS has been making for a long time. It's better than it's been in terms of they're improving it. They're getting it to be better. They're modernizing it, but it's not a giant departure from where the shoe has been. Very durable. It feels like you're running on rubber because there's a lot of rubber outsole on that shoe. Whereas the Nova Blast is a different direction for ASICS. I don't think it's going to be I don't think every shoe from ASICS is going to be like this, but it's an offshoot or a sub kind of like section of the brand that I think is going to be like that. So it's kind of like old school versus new school is one way to kind of look at it. Both are going to be great depending on what you prefer. So if someone is like, I love the Gel Nimbus, I've worn 4 of them in a row, and I give them the Nova Blast, they're probably not going to like it. But if someone is like, I've been running in a variety of shoes, I'm looking to get into some ASICS, should I try this shoe or that shoe? I've never tried either of them before. I would go with the Nova Blast. Yeah, Steve said he retired his Nova Blast on 400 miles, still good. Jeff Elliott said he's 185 and he loves his Nova Blast and he has 1080 version 10 and endorphin speed. As comparison, if that helps. Yeah, good. Awesome. Frank also had 400 miles on the Nova Blast and he usually gets 350 out of shoe. So more durable than usual. And Shannon says, Andy was talking about the Rebel 2 as an everyday shoe. You think you could do easy in them? From the way people are describing the Rebel 2, I think it will be. I think the Rebel 1 was also a shoe that could be an easy day shoe because that fuel cell on the back on the Rebel version 1 was nice and squishy. It wasn't so squishy in the forefoot for some reason. So it felt like there was a really big change from the back to the front of that shoe. And I think that they've done is for the version 2, they made it like more of that kind of squishy material all the way throughout. Or the same material, but like the same level of squishiness all the way throughout. So given that, I think it can be used as an easy day shoe that also can go fast. So I suspect for version 2, yes, but again, I haven't tried it yet. I still have to order it. I don't have a pair of those yet. I'm trying to think of what shoes are coming in. Like some are getting sent to me, a couple of New Balances, but not that one. So I'll have to get that one in for testing myself. Alex Delgado says, do you feel like progress happens steadily or has big jumps when starting out with running regularly, or is it an individual thing? I think it happens in jumps. And I think that in reality, it might look like if there were some way that you could draw someone's blood and like measure midichlorians or something like that and be like a fitness number, I suspect it would be more gradual. But in terms of the way that you're probably going to perceive it, it's going to feel like for a while you're kind of like, I don't know, just shuffling along. And then one day something is going to click and you'll hit a workout or you'll do a race or something. And all of a sudden you'll be like, bam, I'm fast now. And then it'll kind of open your mind that like, I can do all these now, all these new things are available to me when they would have been a little while ago. So I feel like it's going to feel like there's going to be big jumps. And I think that's just kind of how things tend to go. Things will go in spurts. You'll have a big jump and then you might plateau for a little bit and then you'll have another big jump. And that's kind of how I think things are going to go. And as far as it being an individual thing, yeah, there will be some variation in that depending on how you're doing it. But I tend to believe that things kind of like happen in big spurts. There's been a lot of interesting talk, at least on Twitter lately, about the women's 10,000 meter records being broken, even though it had been standing for a long time, and it was suspected that the previous record that they did have was EPO aided, and now all of a sudden it got broken twice in the same week, and people were like, I wonder why. But I also feel like, that's the way things go. I'm not going to say that one person is or isn't clean, or the spikes aren't unfair, or that pacing lights are a bad thing for running. But I also don't think that just because a record that hasn't been broken in over a decade suddenly is broken means that and twice by two different people in the same weekend, doesn't necessarily mean that it couldn't be done naturally. So I think that there's just jumps that happen. All right. Austin Harling says, a lot of questions today, guys. I love it. Says, what do you suggest for a recovery/long run when your average pace is already fairly slow and going slower almost feels like walking? Then I would say walk, or do something else. Hop on a bike, do some swimming, do another activity that gets your body moving, but maybe isn't running. So if you like throwing a frisbee around, go outside, throw a frisbee around, go chase it around for a little bit, that kind of thing. Throw a football around, whatever you want to do, kick a soccer ball. So that's kind of like what I would do. But I also think that if you're going slower than your already slow pace feels like walking, then walk. Totally cool. You'll get the benefit. That's the whole point, is to get out there, get your legs moving, kind of flush the system, encourage, stimulate recovery by doing it, and get the heart rate up. Not as high as you would on an easy run, but get it up there. So, that's what I'd recommend. Philippe Arc says, how do you go about it when you want to run, but your body disagrees with you? Well, that's kind of where I'm at now in terms of recovering from the 50K, where I'm ready to start working again, but my body's like, no, remember what you did last weekend? I do. So I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot. But there could, so when you're getting that situation where your body's telling you something physiological, I think that you got to listen, right? And take it easy and give the body what it needs, not only during the run, but the other kind of 23 hours of the day too. But I think what you're talking about though is more like, you want to wake up in the morning and you don't feel like running and you're kind of procrastinating. And then all of a sudden you procrastinate a lot, and now you can't get your flow run in, and now you're annoyed about it. And you're like, it doesn't even matter if I'm only going out for 2Ks. So I think that's kind of what you're saying is, that might be a good signal to take a couple of days off, back off for a little bit, unless you've got a race very specifically that you're training for, and even then, maybe the best thing to do is to do a reset. Maybe hit the bike that day, maybe go for a walk. I was telling the other person. So that could be some other things you could do. Switch the route, do something different, and just switch it up to kind of get your mind out of the rut, just kind of get the wheels moving a little bit by just doing something differently. So that way your body's not like, we did this yesterday. I didn't like it yesterday. I don't want to do it now. So you just got to just go around that. Do something different. So try those, a couple of those things. And my cycle on Wednesday says, I wonder if there could be a psychological component with the records being broken multiple times in quick succession. I think that there is. I mean, it's like they were saying with Roger Bannister breaking the 4-minute mile, the same thing. After he did, people were trying for a couple years, and then he did it, and a couple people did it in quick succession. So there's always things that are like that too. And same thing with people landing the first 1080. No one could hit it for the longest time. Tony Hawk was the first one to hit it, and then all of a sudden, lots of people are doing 1080s. So that there's always that. I think that's the whole premise not the whole premise, but it was an important premise behind the Breaking 2 project. Is this idea that yes, it's not going to be world record eligible for Eliud Kipchoge to do this thing where he has pacers that come in and out. He's being handed fluids, all this kind of stuff. But once people realize or see that another person did it, then they'll feel bold enough to do it, and then it can be done. So that's kind of the idea. Frank says, did the 10,000s have light pacing? Light pacing seems to be driving a lot of records. Yeah, I believe that they did, because it was at the Ethiopian Olympic trials, And so I think at that stadium they did have light pacing, or at least, yeah, I think at least for one of them it did. So yeah, so I think at least one of those races did, and people are saying that about the light pacing, but I mean, like, no one says that. No one says any. I mean, I guess like that cable cam that they have like at the Olympics around the track. No one says that that's like some sort of unfair kind of pacing or anything like that. But I don't have any problem with light pacing. I mean, I think light pacing is preferable to human pacing. Human pacing just confuses me sometimes because I'm like, oh man, that person's way out in front. So, yeah, but it was, I'm trying to remember, it wasn't me that said it, but someone was saying on Twitter is like, you know, these light pacing and these new super spikes are giving lots of people some very shiny things to distract themselves with when you take into consideration the fact that WADA really hasn't been doing a lot of enforcement over the last year. So that's kind of like another undercurrent. That's going to be another story that I think is going to be, we're going to hear a lot about over the next couple months as we get ready for the Olympics. Is that not as we get ready, but as the Olympics approach, that people are going to say like, I don't know, there wasn't a lot of like at-home testing or like out of competition testing for good reason of all these athletes, and all of a sudden all these records are breaking. So like that, I think is going to be another conversation that we won't be able to avoid. All right. Let's see. There's another question in here. Drew Reed says, question in the vein of running when your body doesn't want to run. What's your experience with running through runner's knee, quad strains, or IT band syndrome? Ever run through to the other side? Yeah, I mean, I had runner's knee last fall, and running through it didn't help it. Taking time off of it didn't help it either. I did PT on it to help me through it. Now I didn't have to completely take time off from it, but I did a lot of biking and I did a lot of knee exercises. I don't know about quad strains. I don't know about IT band syndrome, like if that's the same thing. But for me and the way my runner's knee was, doing a lot of like leg strengthening exercises and also working on making sure that my glutes were active, as much as I hate that phrase, activated, before running, just making sure that I kind of like primed the body, warmed up the body in a different way other than going slow the first mile. Going through basically putting the body through like range of motion exercises before the runs, all that is what really helped. But a lot of the stuff like Bulgarian split squats, single leg, or like pistol squats, single leg deadlift, like those kinds of things, all body weight. Those things really helped a lot. And doing a lot of like those types of exercises to put load on the tendon. I also massage the tendon a lot, but putting load on the tendon while the body was moving in a stabilized way was really what helped me on that. Although, I mean, if you can, go see a physical therapist. They'll tell you for sure. Because I don't know if the exercises that would help runner's knee would exacerbate quad or IT band problems. I don't know the answer to that. Oh, and Piet says, what about the Kinvara as an option? That's a great option too. I just haven't run on the Kinvara in a couple of years, I think. I think the Kinvara, did I run the 11 or I haven't run in the 12 yet. I think I ran in the 11 and then the 8 or 9. So I haven't run in a lot of them, but that one also is a very like low to the ground shoe. You're going to get a lot of road feel. It feels a little bit on the firm side. So I think that'd be a good one. Steven Gurjar says, activate your glutes meme is up there with cornfield meme for the most popular in Kofuzi world. Yeah, that's for sure. That's funny. Yeah, and I Run a Beer said rest and PT were essential for him to get the IT band syndrome. More running just aggravated it further. Yeah, I think that's the thing. That's the tricky part about it, is I suspect that like runner's knee or like patellar tendonitis and IT band syndrome, I think have pains in a very similar area. But I think their causes and their remedies are very different. that's kind of like the hunch that I have. Again, I'm not a physical therapist or a coach or any kind of medical professional. So yeah. So I would, if you can, Drew, go and see a physical therapist to help you nail that down. And Frank said, though, the thing that fixed my IT band syndrome was switching to zero drop shoes for a couple months. Really? Oh, I guess I could see that. Because then if you had the high drop shoes were causing you to like land kind of on your toes in an awkward way, then landing further back, I could see that. That's interesting. Matt Cresson says, when will the next Path non-elite co-gear collab drop? Not this month. It might not be summer, but something's coming. A couple things are coming. But yeah, stuff's coming. I'll let you guys know for sure when it's coming. Maybe we can have them do like an email sign up thing too, so they can figure out kind of like quantities, but like they did for the second run of the shirt last time. But yeah, something's coming, so there'll be more. Thank you for asking. Awesome. And yeah, Mark says, woohoo, more Kofuzi Path stuff. Yeah, I've been a big fan, and they've been treating me really well. So it's been great to work with them. All right. Jameson Murphy says, are you still a fan of Under Armour products? Yeah, I mean, have I ever not been a fan of Under Armour products? I mean, there are times where I just feel like, I don't know, they need to decide. It's kind of like what we were saying about Skechers Performance yesterday. I feel like for a while, Under Armour really needed to decide if it wanted to be in the runner space or not, or if it would just wanted to be like, and we also make running shoes, you know? And so I think for a while it wasn't sure. But I think this, you know, with the Flow Velocity, that's a great shoe. If they can roll that technology into some of their other shoes like next year, I think they'll really build some momentum. Because that's a good shoe. I also don't know what's going on with Morgan McDonald, but I felt like he was doing, a really fantastic job in terms of putting Under Armour on the map for runners. Other than like, I feel like they're known in like on the collegiate level because a lot of universities are sponsored by Under Armour, or at least their athletic teams or their athletic departments are, and so like the gear is out there, and the clothes have always been great. I mean, that's their wheelhouse. It's Under Armour. Like, technical clothing has been their forte from the beginning. But as far as like the running shoes go, like, you know, I ran in the Hover CGR Mid several years ago, and that was actually a pretty good winter running shoe that I was really hoping that they would have updated, but they never did. And then the Flow Velocity Win was the first one I run in a long time. And while I'm not a big fan of the price, $160, the shoe is good. The shoe is good. Mark says they need to make better running shoes and clothes. See, I feel like I like the clothes a lot. I feel like the gear always looks, I mean, they've always made really great winter running gear. Been a big fan of their winter running clothes. It always looks great. It always performs really well. Their summer stuff, I just feel some of the Under Armour shirts, and I think that this is kind of like one of the problems that I had with Under Armour in terms of their really rapid growth is, oh wait, Brian Johnson, the CGR Mid did get an update. It did. Oh, I haven't seen that. I'll have to look for that. Well, maybe next winter I'll look for it. Sorry. But as far as Mark is saying, like, I feel like there was a point when like Under Armour like skyrocketed. And then all of a sudden, like everyone had Under Armour clothes. I feel like at that point, then some of like their shirts weren't as like nice as they felt like they were before. And I feel like then it just turned into like everything's just like a stretchy polyester tech tee. And some of them weren't as nice as they could be, you know? So that was, I feel like they ran into some growing pains, I think. but I haven't tried any Under Armour running clothes in a while. So maybe that's something I'll have to take a look at. I'll check into that. But Brian Johnson, tell me about the CGR mid update. Because I remember when I ran in it, it was a mid top shoe, which was amazing. I love mid top shoes for some reason. But it was a winter shoe, but it didn't have any kind of weatherproofing. And the material that it did have for the upper was like a moisture magnet, which was not so great in the wintertime. So, yeah. But yeah, I'm going to have to try that. Sam Matassa says, have you gotten your new pair of Pegasus lately? Any different feel to them? I ordered them, but they're on back order. There's a color that that Roadrunner Sports has. I think Running Warehouse also has them, but they were sold out in my size. But Roadrunner Sports has them, but they were on kind of back order, so they won't ship for a couple days. So it's similar color to the one that I'd kind of custom designed. So like I wanted to have ones that looked as close as possible. So I'm waiting a little bit, and I'm not in a rush to get into the Pegasus right now. So yeah, it's on the way. Hopefully it'll be here soon, but it's not like right away. So it'll be a minute. Chen Ruth says, have you reviewed the Hoka Trail shoe you ran in the 50K? I didn't catch which model it was. Yeah, it's the Hoka Zenal. And I did the first run video in it. And yeah, so that's where I haven't done a follow-up kind of like I talked about it a little bit in the race recap. But right now I think I'm at like 50 miles in it. Maybe even less than that. I'm not sure. It's somewhere in that range. But yeah, it's a good little shoe. I like it. Carlos Sangalang says, I'm a fan of the Under Armour Speed Pocket shorts and pants. Speed Pocket, huh? Now you're talking my language. I was just watching on YouTube a video from Rabbit. I don't remember, is it called Run In Rabbit or is it called Rabbit? Like the website is like Run In Rabbit, but the company's called Rabbit, right? But anyway, it was one of the founders, and she was doing like a brief product overview. I don't know that this was a video intended for like mass consumption or if it was a video intended for like retailers. It was kind of like going over the product. It was kind of like both. But she was going over like the women's line. I don't know if it was for this year or maybe for last year. But she's like, I forget her name. She's like, I'm so-and-so, and I'm one of the founders of Rabbit. And you guys keep telling us how much you guys like pockets. So today I'm going to go over like the women's line that's all about pockets. And I'm like, fine, someone's listening. Like Path Projects knows what's up. Rabbit knows what's up. You know, John G's starting to add more pockets to everything, which I'm loving. You know, you got to get more pockets in. Like Tracksmith, you got to figure it out. Make the clothes pretty and put pockets in it. You know what else I saw? I saw a pair of pockets from District Vision. Are you guys familiar with that brand? I don't even know if calling it a brand is the correct thing to do. They make weird clothes sometimes. It's like they don't make clothes like every year. I don't know. District Vision. But they made a new pair of pants specifically designed for Martin gels. And along the back, there's like a holster of pockets along the back so you could slide in your Martin gels, 6 of them for your marathon race. It's kind of like the pants that Ben Johnson made for himself. And basically, so these are running shorts that have like the back, like basically all across your butt from like hip bone to hip bone in the back here are lined with like these single sleeve pockets. And on each pocket, it's listed like 6K, 12K. So every 6K, you're supposed to take a Martin gel. And so there's one for each one. And so you just reach back depending on which kilometer marker you're at. I kind of want those, but they're also kind of ridiculous. But I'm also like, if I call those ridiculous, then I'm calling myself ridiculous because I just love to have a ton of gels. But also that I don't want to like admit that I'm ridiculous. So I don't know. I'm torn on but the pants are $120 because they're District Vision. It's like a boutique designer brand. So like, yeah. So I'm not sure if I'll get those, but just amazing. Pockets though. It's all about pockets. All right. Martha says, all right. It's officially Run In Rabbit, but Rabbit. Okay. But Rabbit for short. Okay. Awesome. Good to know. Ray Suarez wants to know if I've tested the Saucony Endorphin Trail yet. Excited for it. I have not. I don't know that I will. I'm pretty good on trail shoes for now because I've got the Zinal, I've got the Lone Peak that I still got to put some miles in. I'd like to put some trail miles in on the CTM Ultra Carbon as well. But and so that's 3 trail shoes already. So I don't know until like I have another trail race, which I don't think will be for a little bit, unfortunately. Like I don't know how much but we are going to try to spend some time in Iowa. I'm going to go spend some more time in the hills out there. So like maybe I will need another trail shoe. Maybe I will pick up the Endorphin Trail. I'm not sure. I always feel like I get really ambitious with the trail shoes because it's like a newer category for me, and I always want to try them all. And I'm like, I'm not going to run that much. I mean, relative to my overall mileage. So I don't know. BY says about the pockets, zipper pockets too, please. The zipper pocket, I can be convinced that not all the pockets need to be zipper, right? As long as there's like 1 or 2 zipper, I think it's good. I don't think they all need to be zippered, but like, sometimes things can kind of fly out of the pocket. If there's side pockets that go like, kind of where normal pants pockets are, then I want zippers on them for sure. And PGR says, I love the rear pocket on the patch shorts. Got to get some more so I don't need a flip belt anymore. Yeah. The only thing though is like for the flip belt, they make that flip belt water bottle, which for me is really useful. That's a great size for a lot of my running. So like that one, that's a main reason why I don't get rid of my flip belt. But I'm also thinking, as much as I love like my running packs, I think I'm going to try more of the hip packs, not the fanny packs. But I think it's weird that fanny packs are the ones with the pockets up front, and they call hip packs the one with the pockets at the back. But I think they're making a lot of nice ones out now that hold like half a liter to a liter of fluid, maybe even a little bit more. But it's got around the waist, where I feel like that's a really great place from a center of gravity and shaking perspective. So I think maybe that'll be like the summer project, is to test a bunch of those. We'll see. Mark Crazon says, just scored a pair of Peg 35 Turbo from the refurbished program for $60. Can't see anywhere. So maybe new old stock. So a pair of Turbo 2 in 9.5 as well in the Woodstock, Georgia store. I think you mean, yeah, wait. The Peg 36 Turbo, right? And then Peg Turbo 2. Or do I have those numbers wrong? I don't know. I'm sure you got them right, Matt. But for some reason, I remember the numbers different. But I didn't realize there was a refurbished program. That's interesting. Yeah, I bet you those are shoes that people wore like maybe once or twice, or maybe bought a couple of pairs and then returned them or something like that. But I guess if they were brand new, they would just sell them as new stock. But maybe they were late returns or something. That's cool. That's cool. I've been hearing, who was I listening? I was listening to a podcast from someone. Oh, I think I was listening to Rambling Runner podcast today, and the guest he had on, she was battling plantar fasciitis for a long time. But a shoe that works for her is the Peg Turbo, and she's been buying up. She's like, I got a stash. I got like 4 pairs of them. People better buy them up. Buy them up. It's not a bad idea. It's a good buy, and I don't think that we're getting a Turbo 3. I mean, maybe we are, but if we are, that'd be great. But maybe they just made so many Turbo 2s are like, we got to take a break on this Turbo business for a little while. I don't know, but buying a whole bunch of them is not a bad idea. All right, Remy says, I really need you to start swimming so you can review wetsuits and help me shop. Trust reviews. I need a triathlon co version. You know what? Today I saw a couple, and as I was coming back from my run, and it was early in the morning, and this nice young couple was walking along, and they were smiley, and I was like, oh, that's cute. And then they were both holding something, and as I looked closer, they were each holding wetsuits. So they were walking to go swim in the lake, and I was like, wow, that's super cute. I'm like, I wonder if this is like a budding triathlon relationship. I'm like, that's fair. I wanted to talk to them. I was like, tell me about these wetsuits, guys. So I don't know. I did really enjoy swimming over the weekend. That's the very different kind of swimming. Although I did swim the length of the pool. At the pool in Dyersville, every hour. So basically like at 50 minutes past the hour for 10 minutes, well, they'll blow the whistle at 50 minutes. So let's say it's like 1 o'clock. At 1:50, they'll blow the whistle. all all the kids. Sorry, I just knocked that. Okay. All the kids have to get out of the pool, and it's a community pool, so like it's mostly children, and so all the kids got to get out, and it's what I call March of the Mothers, but it's an adult swim time for like 10 minutes. I really think it's just a chance for all the lifeguards to take a break, like rest their eyes for a second. I know they'd like switch shifts and like switch locations all throughout the day, but like they all go inside and just, I think, get just some break from the sun and, just take breaks. And for 10 minutes, it's adults only. And usually what that is all the moms that brought their kids to the pool for the day or are watching like a couple families worth of kids for the day. They'll get out and they'll like stand next to each other and walk back and forth along the pool. And I call it the March of the Mothers. Sometimes my wife and my mother-in-law get in there, or sometimes like my wife and her sister will get in there, and it's just really funny to watch. But on Saturday, I was in the pool, and like they blew the whistles, and like for some reason I was the only one that was still in the pool. All the moms got out too, and so I was like, "The pool is mine! I am the king of the pool!" And all these kids are like, "That guy, I want to be in the pool," and I was just like, "It's my pool now, guys! It's my pool." And there's lane markers. And so I swam a length of the pool. And granted, I had run a 50K earlier that day, but I swam a length of the pool and I was just dead by the end. It's so hard to swim, but it is fun. I think the pool at the gym near me is open. So I think I can get in there. I think maybe I could do some swimming. Maybe I'll do some. Maybe that's what I'll do this week. Yeah, I mean, I'm in a recovery week anyway. We'll go. All right, we'll get in there. We'll do some. I'll try to do some swimming. I can't do a swimming workout though. I don't know how to do a swim. I mean, what's the equivalent of like 1 hour easy running or an hour and a half easy running, like an easy running? Just getting in the like lap swim at the pool, like for how long? I don't know. I can't imagine swimming laps in a pool for more than 2 minutes, like a length. I don't know that, but yeah, maybe I'll try to go to the pool this week. I'm gonna try that. I think we're still members. I'm not sure. I'll have to check on that. But review a wetsuit. All right. Well, maybe I'll run down to the beach where all the triathlon people swim. I got to get one of those. Do I need to get one of those things that you tie to your back and it's got like it's like a floater thing, a bobber, like when you go fishing, but it's orange? Do I need one? I got to figure this out. Cause then I think that'll be a fun workout. Like run to the pool, run to the lake, swim in it, and then run back. That'd be a good workout. All right. Okay. I'm thinking about it. My mind's working. I'm not thinking about it. I'm going to do it, but my mind's working. Matt says a mile swim would be close. I gotta swim a mile. I don't think I could swim. I don't think a mile swimming is equivalent. Even easy, like for me, the equivalent. Yeah, Steve 76 says YouTube how to swim for beginners. I'm gonna have to, you know what? I do have like kind of bookmarks somewhere, like in my watch later list, like all these drills that Triathlon Terran has was like, here's what you got to do to learn how to swim and how to breathe and all this stuff. I'm gonna need to get a swim cap though, I guess, right? Yeah, I need a swim cap. So, all right, I got some work to do. I got to get some of the stuff. All right, that's a good place to end because now I'm pretty excited about this. I'm gonna try to swim this week. We'll see. But I need to. But I think they sell swim caps at the gym, so I'll do that. All right. I'm gonna try swim. All right, that's gonna be it for today, guys. Tomorrow's video is probably gonna be a run meditation video. We had just such a beautiful sunrise today, and I saw a dog swimming in the water, and it was pretty cool. That was the highlight of my day. The highlight of my run, anyway. But tomorrow we'll do another live stream, same time as today. It'll be happy hour. Bring your recovery beverage of choice. I may get a beer for tomorrow. I mean, it's always early to do that at 1, but it's 5 o'clock somewhere. But hopefully I'll see you tomorrow, everybody. And in the meantime, be safe out there. Thanks.